So, and these are the properties of the auxin. So, the natural auxin, the IA, is broken down in sunlight, and this is why it's shying away. If vitamin C get deactivated with high temperature, auxin get broken down with sunlight, the light. Okay, and these are the commonly used auxin in horticulture. You got IBA, NAA, naphthalene, acetic acid, and also 2,4-D. 2,4-dichlorophenoacetic acid. Phenol C, acetic acid. How are you going to remember that? I use whatever power left in you. So where auxin got produced? In the shoot tips, root tips, young expanding leaf like the plumule, and also the young seeds. So natural auxin, and therefore can be regarded as phytohormones because it's natural. Remember, hormone is associated with natural, and the synthetic auxin can be very cheap because they can be produced, manufactured synthetically. Even though they are synthetic, they still incite similar response to natural auxin, right? And however, synthetic auxin is not called phytohormones. This is when you start to use PGR, plant growth regulators. Okay. And these are the compounds. I just want you to keep on seeing these names because you need to commit these names now to memory. Right. Oops. So the function of auxin, there are many functions of auxin. It's not like human hormone. Estrogen is for all the female stuff. No, auxin pretty much doing various functions. You got phototropism that you have seen in the Darwin's and Friends experiment. Gravitropism, phytotaxis, senescence, foreignization, apical dominance. But when it comes to cell elongation, it can be the opposite. When you have a lot of auxin in a root organ, the effect is inhibiting. Okay, remember, okay, auxin can be inhibiting in one exception in the root here. You will see in a bit why. If auxin is a lot in the shoot part, in the shoot organ, that promote growth. But auxin, when there's a lot of it in the root region, that actually limits the growth. And this actually limitation, remember, not always a bad thing. It can be a useful thing for the plant, right? Do you know phytotaxis? Have you seen that one before? No? Have you taken your botany? You didn't learn phytotaxy? No?
Regular arrangement.
Apa arrangement?
Arrangement of leaf.
Okay, how many arrangement of leaf? 8? What's this? Alternate. Whirl. Hurl. Hurl. Ni? Rosette. Rosette. Satu lagi. If your rosette suddenly have bolting, and then you got your leaf here, this is called Colin leaf. And you'll see in a bit. Right. So this you should be get familiar now. This is from the candle experiment. You have your auxin pretty much concentrated in the darker region. So remember, this diagram for the shoot region. Now let's see the opposite teaching now, which says auxin will limit growth in the root. Okay, so here's the region. This is not shoot, okay? This is root, the tip of the root. When the plant is placed in the vertical position, the auxin that is originating from the top, from the shoot region, will come down through the stele. Stele is like the core of the root, and it will start to deposit in the tip of the root. Okay, that is one thing. The second thing is, you see this thing? This is statolith. Statolith is actually kind of like small stones in the plant. It's actually like a concentrated amyloplast or something. You got this as well. Where do you got this? However, in human, it's not called statolith. It's called otolith. You got this in your ears. You know your ears got stones? Yeah. You got stones actually in your ears. That's why your gegendang telinga, you learn to control your balance. That's why your body know whether it is to the right, to the left, to the front, terbalik. Because of this otolith in your inner ears. This otolith has got all the 3D structure. It will touch accordingly to the hairs in your ears and the movement of the fluid. So that kind of tell the gyroscope in your head what's your bearing right now. If you got disturbed in your otolith, that's why some people cannot ride bicycle. You know, some people cannot ride bicycle? Yeah. It's not because of fear sometimes. It's just they cannot balance themselves very well. Right. So in plant, you have statolith. Not for balance, but for gravitropism. Okay, whether to ensure that the root is following gravity or otherwise. So when the plant is in vertical, you already have your auxin concentrated in the tip, which is because the auxin originated from the shoot. The statolith also concentrated in the tip of the root. Okay. So when this happens, the auxin that is produced locally in the root will start to produce equally on either side. Okay? So auxin has this tendency to be far away from the statolith. Whenever statolith is there, auxin kind of like, I don't like to be there. I just want to be shy away from it. Remember in the shoot, the auxin is shying away from the light. This is for the shoot. For the root, auxin is shying away from the statolith, the batu. You can think of auxin dislike batu. Right? Why? I do not know whether people have done the study about it or not, because the batu is not really a batu, it's actually a starch that concentrated into a deposit. Right? Okay. So when that happens, the auxin will go up on this lateral side, and then this side will undergo elongation. So the elongation of the root will go straight down. What happens when the plant is placed on the side rather than this way? It's placing lying down. So when that happens, number one, you will start to have your otolith concentrated on the down region, the bottom region of the root tip. When this happens, you will have less auxins present in this region. When there is a less auxin present in this region will undergo limited growth. What happened on the upper side of the root? This is not affected by the statoleaf at all. So this region will have lots of IAA, the auxin, plus also the IAA that comes from the top. So this region will grow the most. So the concept is pretty much like this, the light, but now in the presence of statoleaf. That's why you get your positive gravitropism. The root will grow towards the gravity. Why? Because statoleaf is heavy and dense. It will deposit where gravity is the most. Okay, got it? All right. How auxin elongate the cell? So on the cell surface, the plasma membrane, there is a special protein that is called hydrogen pump. Okay, and the function of hydrogen pump is one, to pump hydrogen. In the outer region here, when auxin is present, it's going to activate the hydrogen pump to pump more hydrogen into the vicinity of the cell wall. When more and more cell wall is filled in with hydrogen, what is going to happen now? It's going to become acidic. More hydrogen, higher acidity. That's as simple as that. That's why it's called pH. Potential of hydrogen. When cell wall become acidic due to the presence of hydrogen ions in abundance, the cell wall will become softened and loosened. If you zooming out, you can see that the cellulose fibers in the cell wall will start to disintegrate and loosening up. Rather than they look too crowded, now they become more relaxed. Why? Because acidity. Right. That's why acidity is also the weathering agent when you learn the soil science. Because it can break things apart. Your stomach, what's the pH? Do you have stomach?
Yes.
What's the pH in your tummy? Is it alkaline or is it basic? Why is it acid? To digest your food, to break down your food, to activate the protein. If your stomach is not acidic, how is it going to break down the food so that your body can absorb to nourish yourself? Right. So breaking things apart is the specialty of pH, which is lots of hydrogen. And when this happens, the cell will soften and it can elongate. Why? Because remember, the vacuole that is filled in water is always pushing. You got your water potential. Remember you learned water potential before this? So there's also always a pressure that is pressing against the cell wall. Now that the cell wall is soft, it's good. When I press, it goes that way. Before this, when it's pressing, nothing much can move. Yeah. Can this happen in human? No. Human doesn't, to start with, humans do not have cell wall. So what happens when you go to your friend and you spray IBA to him? Will he grow? Macam you feel pity. You too short for your age lah. Come. Let's grow some more. Can your friend grow? Why? There's no receptor for auxin. Yeah. He's not going to grow, but he's going to get very irritated. Right. Okay. So yeah, that's how it works. Right. And finally, another thing is when it comes to growing, auxin. I don't want to go too much into this. This is actually a bit advanced, but it's enough to say auxin controls gene expression. The way it works is you have your auxin, then your auxin latch on the receptors that is always present on the surface of the plasma membrane. And when this happens, the receptors will cause a signal transduction, meaning that it will activate another compound in the cell. And then that compound will activate another guy will activate another guy, and eventually that signal arrive in the nucleus. When the nucleus got the signal, it will start the transcribing. You know, the chromosome will relax, the helicase will open the chromosome, and then it can transcribe, copy in, and then you will get your mRNA. mRNA will be translated into protein. And you got your protein, right? And look at here, the auxin is not produced within the cell. The auxin is coming from somewhere else. To show you that the effects of auxin can be throughout the plant. It can move according to the polar transport concept to the either end. Right. And additional response to auxin in addition to cell elongation, expansion, and proliferation. There's apical dominance, parthenocopy, and herbicide. Apical dominance. Oh, this is a favorite for all the gardeners. You have your shrub growing. If you allow it to grow, it will go up looking slender. That's not very interesting. Then the decay will come and start to chop off the head. The moment the plant gets chopped off the head, it will start to become bushier. Right? And that is the effect of auxin. Why? It's called apical dominance. Whenever the plant has the apical or the apex present, all the lateral buds, meaning that the buds that is present in the axillary. So you got your plant. This is your apex and then you got your branch, right? Then you got this. This is actually a bud, the leaf bud, but it stays dormant. It's not growing. Why it's not growing? Because of this phenomenon called apical dominance. But the moment you chop off the head, all these axillary buds will start to grow. There's nothing stopping it now. The reason is, when there is an apical dominance, the sugar that is produced in the side leaf is not going to feed the apical bud, but will go straight top, feeding the shoot apex. The moment the top is cut, the sugar from the side leaves will start to feed the apical bud as well. When this happens, that's why you get the growth. And allow it to continue for another 1 or 2 weeks. That's why your plant get bushier. Yep. And this is why in horticulture and also in forest management, pruning, trimming is very important. Okay? Because when you have more shoots, you will have more buds. When you have more buds, you will have more flowers. When you have more flowers, you will have more fruits. When you have more fruits, what will happen? You will become richer. Jual lah buah tu. Right. So it's not a good practice if you only leave your plant that way. Okay. But of course, there is the art of pruning and trimming. You don't want to cut too much until your plant is stressed. Okay, you keep on cutting, it hasn't got enough energy to regenerate. Surely it's going to die, right? So this needs to be done accordingly. And then second thing is parthenocopy. Parthenocopy is the formation of the fruits without fertilization. So if you learn from your botany, you know that upon pollination, meaning that the pollen has landed on the stigma, the pollen will start to grow pollen tube, finding all the way down, and then causing the double fertilization. Did you learn this? Belajar tak? Double fertilization. And this will give rise to the fruit. What one was an ovule will become seeds, ovary will become the fruits. That's why the seeds is always within the fruits, because ovules is in the encasing of the ovary, right? However, that requires fertilization. Mommy and daddy needs to meet together. Then you have your fruit. With the presence of auxin, when you only have your female flower, you have your ovary, right? You have your ovary, you have your ovules. Your ovules is not fertilized because there's no daddy coming in. But you still have the encasing, the cases, the vessel, the ovary. And this ovary is actually responsive to auxin. When farmers spray this ovary with auxin, this ovary, even without fertilization, they can continue the growth. They can continue the growth, becomes the regular fruit. However, this is going to be seedless because no fertilization that took place. Unpollinated, usually this is what you get. The flowers just to withers, wilting away. Now you spray with auxin, these flowers continue to grow. What continue to grow? The ovary. Because the function of auxin is to promote growth. Very easy. Increase the number of cells and enlarge the cells. Okay. Why this is possible? Because the ovary has all the information that it needs to become the fruit, except seeds. Seeds, you need the switch from the daddy. So it's not possible to produce the seeds. Okay, which is good. This is why you got your seedless fruit. Look at your banana. Is there any seeds in the middle? There's seed but not fertile. Can you taste the seed?
No.
That's not even seed actually. That's just a remnant of the unfertilized daddy. Right. Okay. Right. And finally, auxin in the use of it in the industrial use. There can be a concept of too much of good things. Yeah. In the past, people use auxin to win in war. Okay. It's called Agent Orange in Vietnam War. That's the story here. Kau baca lah. The enemy, when they come over Vietnam, Vietnam pretty much like us. Pretty lush jungle, tropical forest, right? So when the enemy come from the top, can they see the soldiers hiding, concealing themselves within the forest? They can't do that, right? So they spray the forest with this concentrated two kind of auxin, 2,4-D and 2,4,5-D. This thing caused the effect of defoliation during the Vietnam War. When this happened, why is it called orange? What orange in color?
Brown.
The foliage orange.
Yeah, the originally the whole forest looked green. Before the leaves fall down, it turns to orange first. It undergo chlorosis. The chlorophyll breaks down. When chlorophyll breaks down, what's left is the pigments, other pigments in the leaf. And these pigments are usually carotenoids. What's the color of carotenoid? Orange. That's why the whole forest now looks orange. And then they come and they bring the fan or the leaf go down. And they see, tu pak tembak mati. Dah tak boleh menyorok. Right. But people don't use that now. We use that to control the. There are many products. Okay, you can see in the active ingredient whether it's either 2,4-D or 2,4,5-D. Right.